So we've reached the advanced strategies now, and the first setup we're going to discuss is the Iron Condor. This is one of the most popular option trading strategies because we can collect double credit without taking on any additional risk. Now, before you place this trade, you want to make sure that you're comfortable with the four vertical spreads first. Iron Condors are great, but they are finicky trades, and you have to understand how credit spreads behave before rushing into this position. An Iron Condor is constructed using two out of the money credit spreads, specifically the bull put and the bear call. It is a non directional trade, meaning the stock can be bullish or bearish. Generally, the stock price will be centered in the middle between two short strikes at equal lengths away. So, if strike price B is $50 away from the stock price, then strike price C will also be $50 away. You're giving yourself a $100 range for the stock to move around in. And the goal is for the stock price to stay between the two short strikes until the date of expiration. The source of profit in the Iron Condor is not from changes in delta. It is from time decay and volatility decreases. And we'll go over the Greeks inside of Thinkorswim. This trade also doesn't require any additional margin beyond the regular credit spread. And if we think about it, the stock is either moving towards the call side or the put side. It can't be in two places at once. Only one of the two credit spreads is ever going to be threatened, and the broker knows this. So they only require the margin for one of the two credit spreads. And that allows us to be even more efficient with our capital. So let's go inside Thinkorswim and take a look at how we can construct this. To set up the Iron Condor, we need to set up our two credit spreads. So let's go out a few weeks to the Jan 3rd weeklies, and we can see that our expected move is about $56. So let's go slightly wider with our strikes, say $60 on each side. So we'll start with the bull put. Tesla's trading at 430, so that means we want to sell the short strike at 370. And I'm going to make this a $10 wide spread. You can see that we're getting $1.15 in credit, and our total margin requirement for this trade is $1,000. So now let's set up the bear calls. $60 away would be 490. Okay, and we're getting $1.52 in credit. And you can see that our margin requirement has not changed. It's still only $1,000. So let's go ahead and take a look at the risk profile for this trade and let's discuss it. So this is what is meant by non-directional. The profit and loss is exactly the same in either direction. It doesn't matter whether the stock goes up or down, the exact same thing happens. In fact, if we take a look at the Greeks here, we can see that we have a delta that is basically zero. However, notice the purple line. It is not horizontal, it's bowed downwards. This is delta working against our position. If we move the stock price around, you can see that the delta number is increasing and it's showing a loss. This is because delta is making this credit spread more expensive faster than this credit spread is generating a profit. Now, speaking of profit, let's take a look at theta. We have a theta of about 9. So this means that every day that passes, we collect $9 in time decay. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but this is just one iron condor. If you sell 10 of them, then you're collecting $90 every day. And even more when volatility drops. Iron condors have a negative vega. Remember that vega inflates the volume, it inflates the value of option prices, and we don't want that. That's why it's negative. So when volatility drops 1%, our trade is going to profit this amount. Now, what I'm going to do is pull the simulation forward towards the date of expiration and watch what happens to the purple line. You can see that after a few days, the center portion of this condor is in profit. And we've got kind of this second range where our profit is sitting. As I continue to pull it forward, you can see that the purple line bends upward into the blue line until they're the exact same line. So that's the behavior that we can expect from the iron condor. In the adjustment section, we'll go over how to manage this position because while it's a great moneymaker, we have to make sure that it doesn't get into too much trouble.